No surprise, California Governor Gavin Newsom is coming for your Second Amendment rights. He signed a number of bills this week that violate our constitutional freedoms and make it harder for you to defend yourself. Coming up, we'll tell you what he's doing and how we are leading the fight to stop him. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California, and no surprise this week, California Governor Gavin Newsom signed a number of bills into law that infringe on our Second Amendment rights. The bills run afoul of U.S. Supreme Court guidance to states as to what they can and cannot do. But hey, that's never stopped Newsom and his cronies in Sacramento before. They don't care about our freedoms or trampling on our rights. They're going to try to force us to do what we have to do, which is sue and stop them once again in federal court as we have before. Now, the first bill that Newsom signed deals with restricting your CCW rights. The second bill that Newsom signed revolves around increasing taxes on gun purchases and ammo purchases and an 11% excise tax. It was covered by the media, Associated Press. California governor signs law raising taxes on guns and ammunition to pay for school safety. Okay. Associated Press, just cut the crap. Your bias is showing. Everyone loves school safety, but the reality is this: none of this money is going to go to school safety. It's going to go into the giant black hole of the state. He's raising taxes on guns because he just wants to make it harder for people, law-abiding citizens, to exercise their Second Amendment rights, make it more expensive. That's what this is all about. So shame on the Associated Press. And there's our favorite whipping boy, Adam Beam of the Associated Press. God, this guy, what did you hire him, Associated Press, right out of the Democrat National Committee? The guy is always writing stories that are grotesquely biased and always covering up for California's failed, corrupt liberal politicians. Now, immediately, within hours of the signature on this latest law being put into effect, both of these laws, by the way, Michael Schwartz of the San Diego County Gun Owners, he also runs a number of groups in various other counties, one of the best Second Amendment defenders in the country. He joined a coalition of groups in suing to stop the implementation of these laws. Joining me on Reform California is Michael Schwartz. Michael, thanks for stopping by. Not surprised to get your text message with a full, complex, detailed lawsuit within moments of Gavin Newsom signing these bad bills. We are not surprised, obviously, by what he's doing. But given the fact that you've already spoken to lawyers, is your hunch the same hunch that mine is, that Newsom knows that he's probably going to lose one or both of these bills in a Supreme Court challenge, and that he's doing it just to grandstand once again?
Yeah, he's definitely no stranger to grandstanding, and he is really he's done a lot in the last few years to try to raise his profile in ways that he thinks will make him more desirable to voters. But I think he's completely lost touch, not just with California voters, but with voters nationwide. I don't think it's a big secret that he's looking to, go to higher office, go to federal office. He's been strutting around the country, touting what a leader he is, when really he's got a wake of failures in California, and he's really good at putting a spin on it. But the reality is, California is no better. It's certainly worse off than it was when he started, directly due to some of his policies that he's pushed through. And on gun rights, it's been horrible. On the Second Amendment, he has been an absolute zealot. And it's really, truly unfortunate. But I don't know what his thinking is with all these lawsuits, with all these anti-gun bills that he turned into law. But I know that we are going to defend the rights of Second Amendment gun owners in California and in the entire Ninth Circuit, and eventually the entire country. What SB2 does by expanding sensitive areas or prohibited areas where people who've gone through the process to get a carry permit, they can normally defend themselves outside of the home. They won't be able to in just about any place in California. We're going to make
Well,
sure that voices are
let's
heard
cover
going
that. So the
forward.
first bill, SB2, basically thumbs its nose, spits in the face of the U.S. Supreme Court because a year ago they handed down a marvelous decision that was unequivocally pro Second Amendment and said that you cannot restrict concealed carry rights in the United States. It's inherent in the Second Amendment, the right to carry. So SB2 says that you can't carry a concealed weapon at schools, and that's obviously a no-brainer that they would start with that. But it includes medical facilities, doctor offices, dentist offices. It also includes any commercial or retail establishment where the owner does not expressly authorize in advance and post a notice of authorizing in advance the ability for people and patrons, employees, and others to carry. So I guess now we are um, our freedoms are incumbent upon someone else. I mean, on the face of it, SB2, I read it, and this extra provision they have there about um, you know. Anyone could say in my establishment you can't carry a weapon, or in my retail mall you can't carry a weapon. That seems to be flying in the face of what the U.S. Supreme Court has said, that people have a right to concealed carry, and just like you can't refuse someone on the basis of no shoes, no shirt, no service, or on the basis of their ideology or their identity or their gender or their skin color. There doesn't seem to be a rational basis as to why someone can deny you your freedoms, your Second Amendment rights, just because they decide not to post an affirmative statement allowing you to exercise your freedoms. So on this CCW bill, do you feel pretty confident that it can be knocked out by your legal team?
Yeah, we're extremely confident. This is going to get struck down, and there are a bunch. This SB2 is enormous. There are a lot of different pieces to this. We're very confident we're going to win, but it's going to take years. It's going to take a lot of effort. It's going to take a lot of money, which is unfortunate. I mean, there's no way he can look at the Supreme Court decision, the Bruin decision that came down, that talked about concealed carry and having a CCW is a right. Carrying outside of your home for self-defense is a right. It's a civil right that each individual enjoys and the government should protect. There's no way he can look at that decision and think that this law, the SB2, is okay. So, it's just too bad that he has to waste so much time, waste so much money, violate people's individual civil rights in order to advance this political agenda. And you were talking about some of the businesses that now will be forced to post that yes, it's okay for you to carry at our business. Take it one step further and look at the folks who are okay with people exercising their Second Amendment rights in their business. The government is now forcing them to make a political statement publicly, by saying that yes, it's okay for you to.
It's compelled speech, and
Yeah.
the Supreme Court has said that compelled speech is illegal under the First Amendment. Let's talk about the second law. It's the excise tax. So the federal government already has an 11% excise tax on firearms. California seems to be saying, well, if they can do it, we can do it. So now they're doubling the excise tax to 22%. And excise taxes are supposed to be done in such a way where the government says, well, we're recovering costs for enforcement and other ancillary connected programs. What the politicians are saying is that they're going to spend it on gun violence prevention programs and reducing crime, although that's laughable in a state where they protect criminals and are the ones responsible for illegal gun violence. The politicians that are going after the law-abiding citizen gun rights, who are just trying to protect themselves, the politicians are the ones actually creating the violence and creating the crime. But we know that excise tax is going to go to the general fund. It's going to be controlled by the legislature, the politicians, and they can spend the money any way they want.
Yeah, the excise tax is really no different than an old-fashioned poll tax. When they were trying to keep people away from voting who they didn't want to hear from. And in this case, what they're doing is they're blaming sane, trained, law-abiding gun owners for the actions of criminals. This isn't a kind of a, hey, let's all live together in a certain way kind of law. In other words, we all pretty much decide that, yeah, driving on the right side of the road is a good thing. This isn't that kind of law. This is an in your face, we hate you gun owners, we are purposely striking out at you kind of law. And they're misdirecting the problem. They're saying, hey, the problem is your Second Amendment. The problem isn't criminals. The problem isn't certain living conditions that produce criminals. The problem is gun owners who are trying to exercise their Second Amendment rights. So this again is going to lose in court. It's an abuse of power. I think it's unethical. I think it's not going to improve safety. And by the way, one of the things they talk about is you can actually they're going to use this money to fund 501c3s of their choice to help
anti-gun groups. They're going to go after funding
groups.
Far left-wing groups. They've done it before. They're going to continue to do it. Real quick, I want to show folks the actual lawsuit that your team put together, which is absolutely brilliant. There you are, Michael Schwartz, Orange County gun owners, San Diego County gun owners. I want to give credit for some of these other groups as well, including Firearm Policy Coalition. They're doing great work. So you're suing the Attorney General over these two laws that have been introduced. It's a very hefty, detailed lawsuit, page after page after page of arguments and case law. My hat's off to you and your team for putting together such a strong brief here. And I do know that the Supreme Court is aware of your work, Michael, because they cited your efforts to get CCWs issued in San Diego County in the Bruin case, in talking about how CCWs do not lead to higher rates of gun violence or higher rates of crime. And that was all because of your leadership at San Diego County Gun Owners. What is your website for people to support this lawsuit, to support the work that you're doing? Because this obviously is going to take money, unfortunately. And you're going to need the help of all freedom-loving citizens, law-abiding citizens in California. What's your website?
Absolutely. Go to donate at San Diego County Gunowners.com. San Diego County Gunowners.com. You can make a donation. You can become a member or both.
Michael Schwartz, San Diego County Gun Owners, along with a number of other county gun owner organizations. I really appreciate the work you're doing. I support it 100%. And what I'd like to see happen at some point, we shouldn't have to file lawsuits against bad bills because it takes time and money to do that. I think that politicians who repeatedly violate U.S. constitutional rights, like Bonta has, like Gavin Newsom has, I think they ought to be sanctioned. I think they ought to have a financial penalty. I think they ought to lose their government salary, or some penalty needs, or maybe they shouldn't be able to sign laws, be put under receivership. But they are wantonly violating U.S. Supreme Court rulings with these new laws. And they know that the game that they're playing is no expense to them, because we have to fight to affirm our freedoms. And that's not the way government should work. It should be the other way around. Michael Schwartz, thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, this is Carl DeMaio, Chairman of Reform California. Share this video, like and subscribe to this channel. Help us break through the censorship of the liberal media. We're going to need your help to spread the word about the hope that still exists to get our Second Amendment rights protected in California, and how you can join the fight with Michael's organization to do that. And please do still tell your friends to help out Reform California on our website, reformcalifornia.org. Thanks so much. Thanks for watching. Help us break through the censorship of the liberal media by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribe to my YouTube channel.